Hey, everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring George Tuliatos, brought to you by his books, Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Gives you an incredible overview of all the different PEDs used in our sport, drug profiles, stacks, side effects, good and the bad, everything you need to know. And then the sequel, Training, Nutrition, Supplementation in Bodybuilding, so you can put it all together, be the best bodybuilder you can be. And if you're on Amazon.com getting those, might as well get this. What a great book, Real Bodybuilding by Ron Harris. Wow. I would say happy Easter, Doc, but it isn't Easter yet over in Greece, correct?
Yes. It's precisely in 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Wow, that's great. You guys spread it out. Wow. I wonder why we have it so early. I don't know. Maybe it worked out better for like vacation purposes for somebody or something. But anyway, we got some good questions. The first one, I hope you can understand, because I was having difficulty understanding what this person wanted to know. He said, Doc, BPC 157 and or TB 500 for my old parents, 67 and 79 years old, with arthritis. They also have hypertension and diabetes. So he's wondering, I guess, if those two, are they some kind of blood values are okay?
So BPC 157 works synergistically with TB 500, for joint and healing joints, recuperation after trauma or after injury,
What are they? Are they SARMs? Are they supplements? Or
no, they're secretagogues, they're peptides.
Oh, okay.
That they are responsible to form metabolism. It means rejuvenation, actually, of connective tissue.
Oh, wow. Maybe I need some of that. So would you recommend that for elderly people like this?
Yeah, I mean, also Connor had a show about BP 157, and it works also synergistically with core hormone, But it has some side effects, blood pressure, I guess so. One friend of mine used it in Canada. It has good effects in joint healing, highly cartilage, and in arthritis.
Wow.
Perhaps some torn tendons, but it's good to stick it with GH, of course, or IGF-1, and perhaps some DECA to flush some water into the joint. And the basic then building blocks, that is glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, also vitamin C, along with collagen and hyaluronic acid.
I'm just curious for, I have no cartilage left. It's all gone inside the shoulder. It's been gone for a long time.
You can have a PRP that forms, they drop you blood plasma and then also platelets. Wow. And they enrich it with some growth factors, including MGF, IGF-1, and afterwards they infuse it to you, and you have a speed up of new tissue, resembles like the stem cells therapy, like reflux.
Right. Yeah. I mean, these people wouldn't be going all over the world. He went to Colombia to have that done, Flex Lewis.
He was injected in his shoulders and knees and elbows, 6 joints,
Now he's ready to be Mr. Olympia. Anyway, next one. Next question is, my friend went to the doctor because of acid reflux. They did some tests and found high ferritin. That's iron, I guess, right? Now the doctor thinks it's because he's on TRT, of course, 250 milligrams test a week for the last couple of years. Can his TRT be the cause of this high ferritin?
Testosterone improves the iron absorption in the small intestine. So you simulate more of iron, besides testosterone treats anemia, and this is also due to the more consumption of iron, because iron is one of the building blocks in order to build hemoglobin.
Yeah.
But also ferritin, it shows the iron stores, however, could be elevated in case of toxication by iron, which is called hemochromatosis.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's an inflammatory marker as well, So we can differentiate from other forms of inflammation by measuring C-reactive protein, for instance, and also iron levels, of course, because if it's elevated ferritin and iron, then we have this kind of toxication by iron, which is a heavy metal, and we should stop eating red meat consumption, because it accumulates.
Yeah. So if high iron levels were a common thing with steroid, with even TRT use, I think we'd have an epidemic of high iron levels, wouldn't we?
Yeah, the point is, bodybuilders have to get phlebotomized in order for the viscosity of the blood to be within normal levels.
Yeah.
That's why they lose ferritin. It drops in iron levels, of course. So it's secondary iron deficiency through getting phlebotomized indirectly, of course. It's not through diet, but because you get waste of the blood.
Yeah. I will not phlebotomize. I need my blood, doctor. I need it. So I don't believe my body will ever make any more. I need every drop. I know that's ridiculous. So I had to look this up because someone asked about Sustandrol 250, and I thought they were mixing up Sustanon and Androl, but it turns out Sustandrol 250 is like a Sustanon type of product from Balkan Pharmaceuticals. I guess that's over in the Eastern Bloc, somewhere, former Eastern Bloc. So the gentleman asked you, how safe is it to do a cruising period of over 5 years on 1 ml of Sustandrol 250 every 5 to 6 days? And then would it be safer to do test enanthate instead?
Well, to be honest, I thought it was Sustanon,
Yeah. No,
So
it is.
what the
It
heck?
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can use Sustanon 250 at 250 milligrams per week. This is actually the protocol of what Dorian Yates does, because we have a friend in common in London that supplies him with pharmaceutical grade testosterone. And I believe all the retired Olympians, Jay Cutler, Dorian, I don't know about Lehaney, but Ronnie as well, they use 1 ml of 250, the standard dose, at least, or 1 ml of cypionate. But I guess their plateau is 250 to use per week, every 7 days, let's say, roughly.
Yeah. So his
So
question,
of course you can. The point is you have to control the two basic metabolites, DHT and estradiol, reflects to hemoglobin and estrogens.
Yeah. But as far as enanthate being any safer, test is test, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's a time release. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So it wouldn't be any safer. Next one is hair loss. Everybody wants, even I'm, look at that. Oh, I need to ask this question too. I've experienced some hair thinning, hair loss whilst on cycle with test and Tren. Can I take finasteride minoxidil while on cycle to prevent further hair thinning?
Well, only with testosterone, because finasteride is blocking only testosterone, nothing else. The reduction actually of testosterone to DHT. Now the compound is blocked by finasteride, so it's useless if you use testosterone plus any other kind of compound for hair thinning. So one very famous IFBB pro told me that I'm using now in my 50s some Master and some Trembolo, but I'm experiencing hair thinning. I told him, yes, this is very reasonable, because these compounds are reduced to DHT, no matter how much of dutasteride or finasteride you're using. So you just have to stick on testosterone growth hormone, no provider, nothing else, in order to save your hair.
Wow. Yeah, because so many people, Tren is so popular here in the US. I'm sure everywhere, but Tren is incredibly popular. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be experiencing hair loss. Well, the next question also about finasteride. I've been using finasteride 5 milligrams and minoxidil for about 6 months, but I wonder if I should lower it to 1 milligram. I cruise and blast, never go off. And I also wonder, kind of the same as another question you got, if there's any point in staying on finasteride when I go on the Tren cycle. As I understand, no, he just said that.
We answered this. I mean, only testosterone is effective with finasteride,
Yeah. And this the gentleman says, I understand you need to be on finasteride for a few months before it gives you any effects.
Yes.
So it feels a bit stupid to go off and then on again and wait a couple months before the effect again. Yeah. I mean, people use it continuously, or do they cycle on and off finasteride?
Yes, I have a patient who is actually a doctor who does hair transplant, and he also used it for 20 years in a row, 1 milligram, because he's genetically predisposed. His father is bald, for instance, let's say his brother also.
Yeah.
So he told me that if I stop using finasteride, I go bald no matter what.
Wow.
So he keeps his hair just with finasteride plus testosterone, of course.
Wow. So
and actually, testosterone and finasteride, as I said in another show, makes hair thicker rather than using finasteride alone, because testosterone thickens the hair. In the shoulders, in the chest. So if we block the hair thinning out of DHT, then we got also some thicker hair on the scalp.
So man, I think we're scaring a lot of people now, and probably rightfully so, because Tren is, it sounds like Tren, finasteride is not going to help you with hair loss if you're using Tren. And so many people watch these videos. We're using Tren every now and then. Bad. Jeez, this is scary. Next question. I think, is this a friend of yours or patient Nikos Rossos? He's asked a lot of-
He sounds Greek, yes.
That's what I'm saying, Nikos. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure you don't know every person in Greece, just like I don't know every person in Boston. But he says, I've done lab exams on Tuesday, 14 days after my last oral and 18 days after my last shot. 0.3 ml of testananthate. My creatine levels are 1.45. The upper limit is 1.20. And urea, OYRIA, I don't know what that is.
Urea, yes, urea.
Oh, urea, that's what he means, was 53, upper limit 50 milligrams. Liver enzymes were slightly elevated, 43 to 44, AST, ALT, HDL 43, LDL 155, and lastly, my iron was 186. Here we go with the iron, upper limit 160. Are my kidney markers alarming? When could I go on my next cycle again or not?
So the two labs that concern me are the LDL. It should drop to 100 from 150.
Yeah.
And single two digital, I mean below 100. And also his creatinine is elevated. 145 is a lot. So it should drop down to 1.2 in order to enter a cycle, and 1.3 if you have a big frame. You know, guys with big frame, they may have a higher creatinine levels simply because you have more muscle have more creatine, and creatine metabolized to creatinine. So out of a huge BMI over 30, then you may have the excuse to have a higher level of 1.3, let's say. And even if big guys in powerlifting, you know, 6'5", 300 pounds, then you may experience 1.5. But this guy should drop down to 1.2, skip the red meat, you know, check out the blood pressure, hydrate more, stop the creatine monohydrate. And about the lipids, then good fats and some, even either statin or red rice yeast, polycosanol, bergamot. We said that many times.
Yeah.
He
did have one last bit here. He said, one more thing, my testosterone was 390. So I do.
It's low. It's kind of low. I'm sure it's inevitable in a couple of years to enter the TRT. 330, 390 is low. I mean, below 400, come on.
Yeah, I got
you cannot have decent sex drive or
I got on TRT years ago because I couldn't, after I waited a year and a half and my test levels were still like 220, 210, something like that.
This is pathologic.
Yeah, they weren't coming back. It was never coming back. Okay, here we go. Vitamin D. Can you ask the doc about the importance of vitamin D supplements and K2 for absorption? My endocrinologist that I first went to looked at the notes. I looked at the notes he wrote. He wanted me to do 10,000 IU of vitamin D a day for 90 days, then 5,000 IUs a day. I started researching. There's people and doctors saying that vitamin D is basically a hormone and has a lot to do with muscle gain.
Yeah, actually sounds a lot to me, 10,000 every day. Now, you should be really low. Let's say the scale for vitamin D in Europe, it's 20 to 80, okay? Over 80 is intoxication, below 20 is super low and malnutrition, you know? So if you have, let's say 10 levels of 10, yeah, you may use 10,000 for a couple of weeks, and in 1 month you should check it again, the 1.25 hydroxy T3, because also it accumulates as a fat soluble. But you have to supplement vitamin D according to your blood levels, and also make sure you combine with K2 and also a meal, because if you take the vitamin D with water, it simply is not absorbed because it needs some fat from the diet. And actually the best way the best supplement to use is the liposomal spray. So you spray underneath your tongue after you eat, and the liposomal absorption is the best one. Okay, it has a structure that protects them, and the fatty environments, it's friendly, so they get absorbed like this.
Yeah, you know, in the comments section, when sometimes people answer the questions for you, or they try to, and someone said, why don't you just go outside because sunlight gives you vitamin D.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough because in the summer, some people, you know, they're using sunblocks a lot.
Yeah.
Or also another parameter is that vitamin D is something that you find in cheese and in salmon, in fatty fish and in fatty cheese.
Yeah.
So a vegan, you understand, they cannot synthesize properly vitamin D. So you cannot be a vegan with low cholesterol and expect to synthesize in the liver the vitamin D, which is a steroid molecule made of cholesterol, you know?
Yeah.
And actually in people who have low D3, it helps a lot the supplementation for the muscle gains and also the HPTA recovery. After your PCTI supplement, I suggest them to take 5,000 IUs with breakfast.
Okay.
You know, if you are low, and I can tell you that more than 50% of my patients at the office are below. They're very low in D3. You know.
Wow. Wow.
Malnourished, yes.
Yeah, because Greece seems like a very sunny country. Is it sunny most of the year?
Yeah, I
there?
know.
Yeah.
They're not exposed, you know, and they're using sunblocks, you know. Perhaps they're not eating a lot of fatty fish, you know.
Yeah.
It's everything, but you cannot avoid supplements, no matter how much sun you taking or how much salmon you eat. In order to have good levels, you need to take extra.
Yeah. I mean, most people don't have time to lay out in the sun for an hour every day anyway. So
just 20 minutes are enough, but who cares, you know?
Yeah, you'd have a great
time. We have the cab drivers in the summer, they're tanned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Is your driver, do you drive on the right? What side of the road do you drive on?
The left, come on, the left.
Oh, well, I don't know. You're
the left arm is it's dark and
is UK the only country where they drive on the
Cyprus also in Cyprus?
Oh no, wait a minute. We drive on the right. You drive on the
right. Come on. The US? No.
I drive on the right. Yeah, that's right. So you guys drive on the right side of the road?
No, to the left.
Oh, so if you're on the left, but where's because our driver's seat is if you're you're looking out your car, I'm here on the left and then my passenger is to my right. Is it the other way around for you? If you're driving your car, what side of your car are you on in the front?
Left.
You're on the left. Okay. Yeah, so it's only UK that does it on the other side?
UK and Cyprus, yes.
Oh, wow.
And I think Canada, no, UK and Cyprus and Australia.
Okay.
Man, the Commonwealth, yes.
Gotcha. No, so now I understand. Next question, Dr. T. My prolactin is high, 17.6. Normal range is between 2.6 to 13.2. Apart from using cabergoline, and I can't tolerate the side effects, can you suggest what should I do? I'm 5'11", 185, very lean, on 175 milligrams of testosterone a week, injected every other day.
Now, this prolactin of how much, 13, he said?
He's got 17.6.
It's not a lot, you know. Some labs refer to over 15 or over 19, let's say. But he can load with bromocriptine, is an alternative compound to cabergoline. You know?
What are they?
Bromocriptine.
Bromocriptine. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Parlodel is the generic name, while Dostinex was the generic name of the
cabergoline.
Cabergoline, yes.
Yeah.
So what I want to say that he check out his thyroid levels, because hypothyroidism is actually linked to elevated prolactin and also stress, insomnia, and elevated cortisol. You know, they may elevate your prolactin levels. Marijuana also.
Okay. Final question. I would like to ask if it's safe to stay at 500 milligrams per week using Sustanon 250 for 20 weeks max, then cruise at 250 per week for another 16 weeks, then off. So it's a two-part question, but he wants to know, is it safe to be on 500 milligrams of test a week for
Depends
20
how much
weeks?
your hematocrit before, you know, your HDL has to be over 40 before you start. And you have to manage your estrogens, you know, take at least 2 milligrams of anastrozole per week, I would say.
Yeah, he wanted to know, is it better to use Clomid or anastrozole as an inhibitor?
Anastrozole by far.
I mean, Clomid was very old school thing. I remember that like in the 90s.
Novotix is way better than Clomid for the establishment of gynecomastia and lumps, you know?
Yeah.
Clomid is actually to kick your HPTA, but Clomid gives you nasty side effects to the vision, to the mood, and also elevates your SHBG, so your testosterone goes down. So it's not that effective. In the paper, it works. It elevates LH and total testosterone, but because the SHBG elevates, free testosterone goes down, simply it's counterproductive, you know?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys experience, they get very emotional, like they'll cry.
Yeah.
From when
they watch the movie, you know?
Yeah. It's no way to go through. Yeah. And you don't want to cry at every stupid song and movie. Come on. You'd be crying your eyes out all day.
Well, some women like it, you know, you can hit on them.
They say they like that. They want a guy who's shows his emotion and cries. But if you actually do that, they don't like it. They get turned off. They want a macho man, no matter what they say.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm an expert, right? So here we go. Well, that's all the questions I have for you, doctor. Appreciate it very much. Guys, check out his website, www.gtool.com, gtoul.com. Plenty of great articles on there. Check out his Instagram. It's at Dr. George Touliatos. And every Tuesday, are we still doing the articles? I should know this, but I'm losing track. Do we still do the articles online with you every week?
Well, actually, in March magazine, there was an extra
Oh, you had bonus.
column. No, I wouldn't say column, but an article by stem cells. You know.
Well, that's right. Yeah, every month, guys. We are the last bodybuilding magazine in print, and every month you can read. I think it's just called Dr. Testosterone.
So March and April, we speak about training. You know.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm bringing the exercises, the training program. You know.
Good.
And then on May and June, I'm gonna have the nutrition department. And in July, I'm going to have the supplements. August, I'm going to have the quiz about the supplements.
Yeah.
And for September, I have the Q&As.
Oh, right on. All right, guys. Well, now you know, you got the next few months planned out. A lot of Dr. T coming up in the magazine. And of course, every week. If you have questions, guys, please leave them in the comments below. If you like these videos, please share them. Please like them. Please hit the alarm, little bell thing, so you know when we get new videos up. We want you guys involved.
So now the MD has 4 regular shows. Yours, mine.
Kevin?
Connor, 5. Connor, Levroni, and Rick Collins.
Well, I wouldn't call Connor and Rick Collins shows regular. They don't do them every week. It's like Rick does one whenever he wants to do one, when he has something important he wants to talk about.
Okay.
And O'Connor, Dr. O'Connor, whenever I like ask him to do a show, he'll do one. But it's not the only regular. I would say the regular shows are your show, Kevin's show, the new show with Jose Raymond called No Way Jose. MD Global Muscle, of course, Buff Bombshells,
The Ron line,
and the Ron lines, which are, you know, I do like 2 a week on average. But yeah, that's it. But this is definitely one of the foundation shows of muscular development right here. Ask Dr. Testosterone.
Yeah, it's 2 years actually. Yeah.
And this is the only place, guys, the only place you can get the type of advice you're looking for on PEDs from an actual medical doctor who has used them, who was a champion bodybuilder. You don't get many opportunities like this. So Dr. George Touliatos, thank you so much for being here and offering this service to these people every week. Yeah, it's a good thing, guys. You have no idea how hard it was back in the day. You said steroids to a doctor and they would have thrown you in jail back in the day. Oh, you know what? I got to tell you one last thing, doctor. I have the book Pumping Iron. You know that old book?
Yeah.
There's a chapter at the end where they talked about steroids for like a page, not even 2 pages, like 1 page. And there were studies being done in the early 70s in Kent State, Ohio. And I can't remember the doctors, the researcher was a doctor. He was trying to prove that steroids didn't work. It was all a placebo effect.
Yeah, I've read that.
What a bunch of bullshit. Oh. I think they were just trying to discourage people from using steroids, saying they don't work, they don't even work.
But they were not ergogenic, meaning enhance the performance, you know?
Right.
They were just for medical use, but they had no idea about it. But actually the Soviets and later the Americans launched them to the sports in the mid 50s from the Olympic Games, you know?
Right. The weightlifting, because it was our weightlifting teams were like battling. That was the Cold War, because we didn't have an actual war. Our wars were at the Olympic Games every 4 or 2 years, I guess. It
was a terror game.
Yeah. Who's got the most gold medals? I think they were collecting a lot of gold medals back in those days, between like Eastern Germany and the Soviet Union.
Yeah. They were battling. Yeah.
They were great. Anyway, that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Dr. Touliatos, thank you so much. And we will check you guys out next week.